What I want to talk to you guys today about is Alexis' career in real estate.
Like, dude, how'd you do it? I'm like, do what? You sold 10 homes. I'm like, okay, like what's, I didn't know, like that's a big deal. They're like, you got lucky if you got one or two, especially when you're working. And I was like, they're like, how'd you do it? I go, I don't know, I was just consistent.
And this is from a guy from Guatemala, and you see me too, Albert, Mexican. We're not supposed to be super successful. At least that's how a lot of people see.
Right.
So I think you give a lot of young realtors, you give them hope that it doesn't matter where you came from. You could still be a badass top realtor in one of the best companies.
Working on yourself will allow you to do better and you fill in the blank.
Yeah.
So if you're a plumber, you're gonna do better in plumbing. If you want to be the best husband, you're gonna be the best husband.
Hey guys, welcome back, and I'm here with a special guest, Alexis Ubeda. They call you Agent Ubeda, at Agent Ubeda.
That's right.
So
That's
like
right.
what the cool thing about Alexis is he looks like a celebrity. You guys comment below if you know who he is, who he really is. That's why he has his glasses. He's a little bit popular, so he likes to keep it low. But what I want to talk to you guys today about is Alexis' career in real estate, and how he got started, a little bit of his background with his family. But this guy, first year, he has like a, average to, maybe even below average to your standards.
Yeah.
And then last year, your second year, you just kill it and you're second place in the whole company.
Yeah.
So before that, Alexis, who's Alexis? And if you could introduce yourself and tell people where you started and where you came from.
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question. So Alexis Ubeda, hashtag Agent Ubeda. My first year in real estate, I'm like, I was thinking like Albert, how am I gonna get someone to remember me, right? There's thousands and thousands of realtors. And I'm like, well, just keep it simple. Agent Ubeda, my last name. So I came up with that. Where did I come from? Geez. So I migrated from Guatemala, from my Chapines, when I was 4 years old with my mom. And that's a whole nother story within itself, because I literally crossed the border, like physically ran across the border, crawled across the border. I didn't get to come in on a visa or anything like that. Is it? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, then Sil and I get along great then. We have a lot in common. It was but you can imagine for a 4-year-old, that's still embedded in my brain. Yeah. So, and I came with my mom, so it was just her and I. Mm-hmm. I could tell you the whole story about it for hours, but.
So you remember that?
I remember very parts of that were unique in the sense where there was a time where I got really sick.
Yeah.
So, the coyote, right? The coyote. He had to take my mom and I and a group of other people to a certain place. I just remember it was like a small apartment complex, and the people there basically gave us where to sleep and eat. And the main thing was, he walked in there and he's like, this kid is hurting. Like, can someone help us? So the people there were like, oh my God, we got to help these people out. So that allowed for everybody in that little apartment complex to basically give the rest of the group somewhere to sleep and eat. And I just remember getting some type of soup.
Yeah.
They gave me soup to just, I don't remember what happened to me, but I knew I was on the downhill, right? I got really sick. We stayed there a night.
Do you know what you had?
I don't remember. I just, who knows, right? I mean, I was 4 years old. And then the next night, we actually went to a junkyard, where all the salvage cars are at, like a car junkyard where they smash the cars and all that, right? Yeah. So we were in the back of a van to wait for the next day to make our next move. So we slept in that van. I remember that. Those are the two big ones. And the third one was, so it's kind of like a movie. Imagine, so there was we're starting, let's say, from here to here, right? Let's say about 100 yards, whatever length it was. And the coyote was like, look, when I tell you to run, you run. But when I tell you to drop, you got to drop. And that was because it was at night and there was a big light just hovering over, looking through the grass to see if they see anybody. So he'd be like, go. And I would start, and then he's like, get down, bájate. Boom, I'd lay down. And then goes, hey, go again. So we literally did that like all night until we crossed. Those are the three, like, just.
Do you remember if it was hard or easy?
Oh no, it was scary. That's what it was. So those struggles.
What's the worst that could happen if they?
Oh, I don't know. Would they would have sent us back to Guatemala maybe? But as
But is there a danger like getting shot or people could kidnap you?
that was okay. So it's funny you say that. It wasn't a kidnap thing, but what did happen to us was we flew in from Guatemala to Mexico, a certain area of Mexico. I don't remember where. Could have been Tijuana.
Yeah.
And we had paid already in advance, apparently, if the story goes as my mom mentioned it, was to cross over without any problems. But they actually said, you know what, how much money? They pretty much took her money and said, I don't know how you're going to cross. Figure it out. So we had to make another call. And then grandma came through and I guess sent some more money. So they didn't kidnap us, but they did take our money, which is why we struggled to cross when originally we were set to just come in here smooth.
Do you have any idea how much they charge to cross?
No, I don't. Back then, just imagine we didn't come for money, so any dollar was times 10 for that.
I wonder I wonder what's the percentage
Yeah, this was in '84.
Success percentage.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It was just it's something I'll never forget, and it was a lot of people are like, dude, you saw a movie and you think you went through that. I'm no, that really happened. But
so once you get here, where do you go, or where was your first home?
So our first home was with my grandma, my mom's mom. It was a 1-bedroom apartment in North Hollywood, and then she brought in another family from Bolivia. So now there's that lady and her son, my mom and I. That's 4, and then my grandma. So there's 5 of us in a 1-bedroom apartment in the heart of North Hollywood. So from the age of 4 to 10, I was there. Went to Oxnard Elementary, and then I ended up moving to another part of North Hollywood. So one part was one gang, and the other part was another gang. So I just moved from one gang to the other in that neighborhood because it wasn't the nicest of neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So.
And then what about college? Did you go to college?
Yes. So fast forward to that. After North Hollywood, I ended up going to Sun Valley, where I ended up in another very gang-related and infested neighborhood. But one of the main reasons why I actually did go to college, and I wear this ring to remind me, and I like to match it with my black, is my Cal State LA ring. It's not Harvard or Stanford or any of the sort, but it's just something to remind me and to pretty much prove that even someone coming from where I came from, with the limitations that we had growing up, you can still, achieve something bigger than what you might not think is possible.
Yeah.
And, thanks to my mom was the one that pushed me. I got to thank her for that. That was one of the main reasons why I was able to even graduate and finish that, or even get to college, to be honest.
Do you come from a family where everybody graduates, everybody goes to school, or?
No. Coincidentally, so out of all my uncles and aunts, one of my cousins, Dennis, rest in peace, Dennis, he was the first in the family to get a college degree in Boston. I believe he went to UMass of Amherst, and he got his bachelor's there. And then I was the second one in the family. So that's why the ring, to me, it's a big deal. Because then I'm showing the younger generation, like, dude, if I did it, and I wasn't the smartest kid in town either, but if I did it because I was consistent with it, I'm sure anybody else can.
I was the opposite. Like, a lot of people from my family graduated, and I was the only dumbass that didn't graduate.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm sure now that doesn't matter. I mean, education, it's turned out to be, depending on what you're doing, is obsolete, right, in a sense now. But I think it's more for us, for our generation, is more like, it's something to show and say, look, I was able to do that. Because, I went to, I got a bachelor's in communication broadcast journalism. I'm not doing journalism, but it's still what it does is I think what it shows for everybody out there, it shows that you're capable of doing something and being consistent with it and staying and finishing the task.
Yeah.
So I think for the most part, thank you. I think for the most part, when you're dealing with college and a bachelor's degree, it's in a second high school diploma in the sense that you're proving to yourself and maybe to a big company that you might want to apply for, or so on and so forth, that you started it and you're able to finish it, right? It's another extension of that. So I think that's a big deal because it shows that you're capable of that.
Yeah.
So, for what it's worth, it means a lot to us.
So you come from Guatemala, you cross the border when you're 4. And then you move and you're in the valley. Then you're the first one to graduate from the second one in your family to
and
do
the
that.
whole family, yeah.
And speaking of family, you have a beautiful family. I know them very well.
Thank you.
You guys have been over with the kids swimming, and your wife is amazing. Tell us a little bit about your family. Like how important is your family, and how did becoming a father change your life even more?
Wow, that's a loaded question again. Just because we've been through so much, and we've grown so much together. My wife and I, Wendy, I love you, babe. And the kids, they mean everything. One of the most precious things that it still hits me is, as much as I tell them I love you, it never gets old. So I always tell them I love you, no matter what. It's getting to me because they just mean the world.
Yeah.
But that is something extremely important. And I just feel that no matter what, I'll always be there for them. And I want them to know that no matter what, Dad was always trying to do his best for them, and that he loved them no matter what. And I think the reason is because I didn't grow up with a father, so I've always felt I needed that growing up, and I didn't have it, so I was searching for it in maybe the wrong areas, right? And I don't want them to go through that. I want them to not search for it over here or over there. They come to me as a dad. So I just, that's always something that stuck to me. And to this day, it's like, and they're probably tired of it. Like, dude, you already said that. you said that like 2 minutes ago, bro. Yeah. But I, even at night when they're asleep, right before I go to bed, I'll whisper in their ear, I love you. Because I want them to know that Dad's there for them 100%.
Yeah.
So that's yeah.
It's similar kind of to what I do every morning. Like when I get off the bed, I kiss all of them. Like Italia, Berlin, and Sil.
Yeah.
And then I go do my morning routine here in the house. And then before I leave the door, I go back and I kiss them again. Because I just feel like, what if this is the last time I see them? And I'm not I'm not saying that, I'm not like thinking that something's gonna happen to me.
Right.
But you never know. Like I had a
That's
really
funny you
good
say
friend that just passed away, 47 years old. So
wow.
you never know what could happen. So that's why I do that. So it kind of reminds me of what I do in the mornings, but you do it in the nights.
It's funny you say that because, like you said, you don't want to speak, about that stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about that stuff. But in the back of your head, I think that's why I do it too. Because I'm like, I don't know, and for whatever reason, I want them to know that he was always there.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting, because that's the same thing that I subconsciously think I think.
So Alexis, before you got into real estate, or when you were expecting your first child, were you already in real estate, or were you doing something else?
No, I was doing I was doing something else. In regards to our first child, we unfortunately had a miscarriage our first time. Oh, Wendy doesn't mind me talking about this. Our second child, so we have 2 angels in heaven, Adriel and Adriel Alexis. And so the first one was a miscarriage. It was, I think we're in our 6th month. And then our second one, he was here on earth for 10 days. And then he had, leave, but, and go up to heaven. But, so that in itself was a whole nother, realm of just, you can only imagine what happened there. So the whole time though, I knew I had to do something else in what I was doing. And what I was doing was trying to figure out where do I fit in? What is Alexis? What am I here for? What am I doing? Because I was doing a great job in the sense where I felt it was something that's needed. I was a special ed assistant with kids with autism and all that great stuff. And I was helping them out as a one-on-one.
Yeah.
But I knew in the heart of hearts that there was something else for me that I needed to do more. I didn't know what it was. And one thing led to another. I said, I'm just going to try real estate. And fast forward to my first year in real estate, I was working 2 jobs. So real estate was Saturday and Sunday. And when Wendy got pregnant, she's a teacher. So kudos to Wendy. Well, she took a leave of absence. And I told her, look, I'm going to do these 3 jobs until I have to. So if you can stay home with the baby, which was our third, Mateo, then you don't have to go back to work.
And you were doing the 3 jobs because you needed the money.
Because there's no other way around it, yeah. And then now she took a leave of absence. So
yeah.
So I needed to make it work. And my first year working, Monday through Friday, during the day and an evening, and so when I had clients, they would call me and say, "Hey, can you meet at 5?" I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm already booked."
Yeah.
But I was out going to my second job. I go, "But I'll see you Saturday and Sunday." So real estate just kind of happened. It was something that was brought up to me as an option and when I was in college. But when I was in college, it wasn't something I really wanted to do. So I got into real estate, and as I'm doing the 2 jobs, I sold 10 homes.
And when you got into real estate and you sold the 10 homes, like right before the real estate part,
yeah.
How long ago? How separate was that from when your 2 first childs?
It was back to back basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was.
So that was probably. Would you say that was probably like the hardest moments of your life?
It's still something that I'm still dealing with internally. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it definitely was 100%. You're never prepared for that stuff, especially if it's never happened to you.
Yeah.
So you don't know how to react or how to not react. So that was definitely, at that point, money doesn't matter either. You're not worried about if you have money or not. You're just worried about health.
Yeah.
So that was definitely the hardest time of my life. Yeah.
And then when you get into real estate and you sell 10 homes your first year?
Yeah. So what happened was doing it part-time, I sold 10 homes. I didn't know any better. Like, I didn't know if that was good or bad.
Yeah.
So at the office, they're like, dude, how'd you do it? I'm like, do what? You sold 10 homes. I'm like, okay, like I didn't know, like that's a big deal. They're like, you got lucky if you got 1 or 2, especially when you're working. And I was like, they're like, how'd you do it? I go, I don't know. I was just consistent. So that's when I started learning that we all talk about momentum. Like, if you have momentum, you keep it going, right? You're big on that.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you got the momentum, keep it up. But what I learned there was if you build your own momentum, that's even bigger than, because the fruit, right? You're the one that harvesting that plant, and you're the one that's making it. So if you make your own momentum out of nothing, that's even crazier. That's even more powerful than having the momentum and keeping it going, which is very hard to keep momentum. Yeah. But when you're building that momentum, that was a big deal to me, because I'm like, wait a minute, like I just did this Saturday, Sunday, and I just kind of blew them off the water because I didn't know any better. So it's something triggered in me that said, this is you. You got to do this. Just whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So that's kind of where I stuck onto real estate, and then kept going forward.
And this year, the year that you sold 10 homes, your first year in real estate, when was this? 2000 what?
2000, I want to say it's 2014, 13, 14. So fast forward. So the big thing I think what happened was the difference between then and now was that this last year where so let's go back to 2019. I did 7 homes. Like you said, I had not even an average year for me, below average. I sold 7. So the number 7 in 2020 really stuck to me a lot for what one of the reasons was, I think, is 2020 was my first year that I actually did real estate full time. So since 2013, 14, I've never done real estate full time because my first year I had 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And then my second year, I opened up a company that you and I discussed already about. And that pretty much took over real estate. So since 2014 till now, I've always had 2 jobs minimum.
Yeah.
Because my first year I had 3. Now then I had 2.
Yeah.
Last year, I finally had real estate as my only job per se, right? And back to 2019, I closed 7 deals. And I remember being at their Christmas party.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for everybody. Like, oh, Andy's going up there, Eli and Mike, everybody, Kyle, whoever there was. But I'm sitting there and I told Wendy, I'm like, fuck. And she's like, what's wrong? Like, what happened? I'm like, why the fuck am I not there? And she's like looking at me like, well, that's your problem. So that lit a fire in me where I was like, I don't mind clapping for everybody.
Yeah.
Especially, my Ambiance people. But it told me like, dude, you gotta step up. So I went from 7, I tripled last year. So I actually did 22 over 3 times more in 2019. I did 7 in 2019 and I did 7 just in October of 2020. So in 1 month, I did what I did the whole year, the year before.
That's right. Yeah.
And then for the first time in my career, which, for the other veterans might not mean a lot, but for me, closing a deal last month in December made it the 7th month in a row that I closed a deal. Minimum 1.
Yeah.
So 7 to me it's been a big deal in this last year. I tripled 7 times 3, 21. I did 22. I did 7 in 1 month, and I did for the first time 7 months in a row closing the deal leading up to this new year. So now I feel like, and I appreciate the...
Yeah, we have your bling bling here.
Here's my second place, which I'm happy.
We'll
I'm not satisfied.
talk about them. Yeah.
So this one right here, thank you very much, Ambiance Realty. I know TMG gets a lot of love, but hey, we're doing Ambiance today, right?
Ambiance, by the way, had the biggest month ever.
Oh,
last
there
month.
you go.
It was
December?
Yeah, we broke the record.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I was able to contribute to that. So,
and then this one.
This is it right here, the most improved, 2020. I tripled my sales. I really did. And I think, and it really, there's been a lot of contributions to that. It's not just me sitting there in that Christmas party, but that was a big deal when I told Wendy, like, why am I not up there? Like, this is bullshit. Yeah. And she's looking at me like, oh, that's your problem. Like, you're the reason why you're not up there, basically. Yeah. So I had to turn that around, and I had to change a lot of things. And I've been working on, a whole lot within myself. So like your mindset, like you talk about, then you got your heart set, then you got your health set, and then your spirituality set, kind of like a big circle.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not easy to do, by the way. It sounds easy, but it's not. So a lot of people get stuck in, think positive. Okay, great, you could do that. You can wake up every morning and say all the positive things you want. But then if you go to your heart set, and in your heart you're still dealing with past stuff, it's gonna not let you, keep going. Meaning it's gonna stop there, and you're not gonna be able to work on your health. Yeah. Which is how you're big on that. And then your spirituality set, which is your whole as a being in regards to whatever you believe in. But I feel like all those things connect. So since I started working on that stuff, that's helped me do a lot better overall as not just as a person, but it's helped me I mean, the results are there.
And I know you've been looking at Lambos and Ferraris, and that's a whole different topic.
That's a childhood dream. But
and I know you're gonna get it. You already committed to it, and you have a goal. But going back, like one thing that you said right now that's very important for everybody to listen to and hear this message is, I believe big on focusing on one thing, because people come to me and they ask me, Albert, I want to do real estate and loans.
Right.
And you were doing real estate and your other business.
The other company that had another division to it. Yeah. And you were the first. You were one of you. I will say, Wendy was like, you gotta just do one. Yeah. And then Albert says, just quit. Just stop. Just stop doing what you're doing. Just
Yeah.
stop. You're like, and I was like, oh, it's not that easy. But to you, I have to give you credit.
Yeah.
You were right on that. You were off the bat. You're like, Alexis, just stop. Just do real estate.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. And that's something I learned throughout the years as well. As an entrepreneur, you want to do everything.
Yeah.
But you're right. If you and I strongly agree now. I couldn't say that 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, Albert's wrong, right? But you're right. If you focus on that one thing, that's gonna help you master that one thing.
Yeah.
You want to be a master at what you do.
Exactly.
You want to be a master car wash guy. You want to be a master plumber. You want to be
Yeah.
a master real estate agent. You want to be a master doctor. That's it. You can't do both.
Yeah, and that's the power of mentorship. Like we sat for like an hour and a half. I remember I was using the Jamboard, and I told you a lot of stuff, but the $1 million idea that you got was very simple. I just told you, like, I think you should just do real estate.
Yeah,
and you
100%.
stuck to that.
100%.
And then you killed it. And I told you, like, look at Kyle. Kyle's like making so much money, closing a lot of deals.
Yeah.
That's all he does. And the same thing with Kyle, by the way. Kyle had another business.
Yeah, him and I met last month too.
Yeah.
We discussed that.
Yeah.
That he was doing the music
I told him
stuff.
the same shit. Cut that other business.
Right.
And
right.
and then you did it. So what I want people to get from this is you focused on real estate and that's it. And you mastered it and it got you to the top of the company. And now, like, once you master your one thing, then it's okay to now I could open up another flow of income.
Right.
Maybe I could buy some apartments. Maybe I could invest here.
100%.
But everybody wants to do everything like at once. And you don't even have one thing right, and you want to do like a bunch of things. So I think that was your key moment. But your big month that you had, do you remember how much money you made?
Yeah, somewhat. So just to keep it simple.
It was a big number.
It was a big number, but it's very interesting because it's so when I was working at the schools, it wasn't even that wasn't even half.
Yeah.
So it was very it felt great, right? But for at least the way I am is I was like, okay, so I had 12 escrows.
Yeah, I remember.
On the board.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And
so
I remember I paid you like a $30,000 check, another $20,000 one. You closed 7.
We closed 7, and the reason we closed 7 was because 2 fell out. So welcome to real estate for all you that think, it's just easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? We didn't close the 12. I did close 10 of the 12, but in that month I closed 7, and the other 3 got moved to the following month. But it's funny. I still felt like, what's next? I wasn't satisfied.
No,
I wasn't satisfied, but I was happy that I did it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I should have done 10 at the least.
Yeah. You didn't look too excited either, which was kind of shocking.
And you know what? I think it's something that I've always been able to, when I stick to something and I achieve it, for whatever reason, it might be a catch-22. I like this. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I got second place, and then I'm thinking, well, where's first, right? So like I'm satisfied, but not satisfied. Yeah. So I want to do more now.
This year, are you gonna kick Kyle's ass?
I told Kyle, I talked to Kyle. I'm coming for that spot.
If you're watching this, Kyle, comment.
I love you, bro, but yeah, you got to be ready. Jared was telling me he was gonna catch up. Whoever wants it, bring it. Let's go.
Do you think? Somebody asked, what do you feel was the number one thing that allowed you to triple your sales?
That's a loaded question in the sense that there's no simple one answer.
Combination of things? It's
a combination of a lot of things. For me personally, I mean, maybe someone can say, "Here's that magic pill, take it." Mm-hmm. But what I would say is working on yourself. I'll try to make it really brief. But working on yourself will allow you to do better and you fill in the blank.
Yeah.
So if you're a plumber, you're going to do better in plumbing. If you want to be the best husband, you're going to be the best husband. Is it going to happen within a day or two or even a month? No. I'm still working on a lot of things that, which in a sense, I'm like, dude, you guys, I got second place. if you think that was good, wait until I really trigger what I'm working on, because I feel that I'm still working on myself and I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I said, that full circle, when you're able to master your day. So you master your day, then you master your week, you master your week, you master your month, and then you start mastering your years. And that's where the greats really perform.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just, your great mentor, Bobby Castro, let's just bring him up. If you're ever around Bobby, like ever get to see Bobby and talk to Bobby, I guarantee you, Bobby's mindset, his heart set, his health set, and his soul set is on fire.
Yeah.
Like he wakes up, and I want to ask him. You can ask him later, Bobby. I guarantee you, he does everything the same 7 days a week. His schedule's like, so he'll do certain things. I don't know. I don't know this. I didn't ask him.
Yeah, you're right.
But I promise you, he does everything the same when he can. Meaning, obviously, you got a meeting, you can't, right? But in regards to him working on himself, that's something that you do. I admire from you. I will say you're probably a part of that. What do they call it? The LSG club. So you're learning, right? You're studying, and then you're growing, and that's all the same thing.
Yeah.
So Albert's always learning something, and when he learns it, let's say Bobby tells you, "Hey, I need you to figure this out." So you're gonna go learn it. You're gonna study it some more, and then you're gonna use that to help you grow. That's the LSG, right? LSG. So Bobby's does that automatically, I guarantee you already. So he wakes up, he's already on fire because he's mastered that. Yeah. He's mastered his mornings, and he's mastered what he has to do every day. And then a lot of people would, and so kudos to you, because I see that when you get something, you do that. You learn it, you study it, and you enjoy it. And that's how you're expanding the company.
And I stayed with him 2 days, 2 nights in his house last week, and totally.
Am I right though?
Yeah,
I wasn't there, so I don't know. Right?
And he reminds me a lot of myself in the form that, like, I woke up in the morning, and he's like, "We got to go work out at this time. We got to do this. We got to do this." Yeah. And I come down like in the morning. Yeah. And he's already has his gym clothes. Yeah. He has his leg up like this, and he's like reading things. He's like reading something. 100%. And I could see his mindset going in circles. And he's like, "Okay, we gotta go work out. We gotta work out. Let's go now. Office. So, and every day he does that, and he works out intense.
So Robin Sharma, Robin, if call me. So he has a great book, The 5 a.m. Club, and he talks about your peak hours, 5 to 6, and then you exercise, and you work on your mind, and then you work on what you got to do that day, and that's basically what Bobby does, without even me seeing Bobby do it, because I can see it and I felt it when I'm with him, and I don't mean by physically touching Bobby, but when you're on Bobby, his aura, he's fire, like. Because what happens is he's doing what he does every day. So when he wakes up, he's a walking fireball. Yeah. Like you got to be around him to understand what I'm saying, and that's what I want to do, because I want to be able to get that connected within myself, within what's around me, to where when I wake up every day, I'm kicking ass, and I'm killing my day. So you kill your day, you kill your week, et cetera, et cetera. So. That's the short answer that I was trying to give you. They said, well, what was the one thing? There wasn't really one thing. It's a lot of small things that if you do it consistently, you're going to build something.
And I know you spent some time with Bobby. He gave you some private mentorship.
He did. And a lot of it was related to what you had already discussed. But it is, for whatever reason, sometimes us men, we're the alphas. We need to hear it from another alpha, if that makes sense, right? And hearing it from him, and he didn't have to do that, as we know, Bobby's who Bobby is. So thanks again, Bobby. Appreciate it.
Is there one thing that you think you got from Bobby? The number one thing you got?
Which is what I just discussed about is he's
the way you
do basically run your day like it's your last, in a sense, right? Yeah. Because he's killing it every day, but you can't do that overnight. You got to work on that. And then what he does is, if you listen to him, he always says, "I'm here with good intentions." Yeah. Now let me speak on that. So you're great at marketing, right? So what marketing does, when you do an action, you're going to get a reaction, right? So you're like, look at me. This is what I'm doing. So you're bringing out eyes to you, right? So what Bobby has mastered is this. He's bringing out eyes to himself, or he has, right? But his intention, so what you do an action, you get a reaction, right? What you do with that reaction, what's behind that is what are your intentions, right? So Bobby's intentions are nothing but good. So what happens is what he gets back is a double or triple in return of his goodness, which is why Bobby will always say nothing but good intentions, because he wants you to know, look, I'm bringing you this, and you're gonna hear me out. But what people don't understand is when you're marketing and you're doing your thing, if your intentions were bad, I'm gonna tell you right now, if your intentions were bad or Bobby's intentions were bad, you wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have this around you. You wouldn't have the companies you have. If Bobby was bringing all that force and all that attention to himself, but his intentions internally were negative, he wouldn't be the multi-millionaire, billionaire that he is.
Yeah.
So that's something to always remember. And I think that's one of the things that I got from him was like, just make sure you're doing it with a positive mind.
Yeah.
Do what you're doing, just do it with a positive mind.
Yeah. Now, Alexis, let's jump into real estate. What is you think with the company right now that you have a lot of competition? You think that that's part of the reason why that pushes you to be better?
Yeah, I do. So growing up, I was very fortunate to play baseball as a kid. I remember moving to Sun Valley at the age of 10.
You can't beat me in basketball, by the way.
Oh, they were asking me about that. When are we gonna do the one-on-one?
Dude, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna have to do it because I was pretty good, I will say. But so competitiveness grew in me when I was playing baseball in Sun Valley. It wasn't a little league, but it was a rec center. It was a park, and that was a big deal in the sense where you're playing against really good players, and you're getting forced to do better.
Yeah.
So when I came into Ambiance, I got my ass kicked that year. That's why I was like, wait a minute. Typically, I'm not too shabby, and I'm, talked about, or I'm getting an award of some sort as in regards to sports.
Yeah.
Because I was always pretty good. But then this time I was like, dude, they know you, but you're not doing any noise here.
Yeah.
So I think that helped me bring out that inner competitiveness, and which is great because I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed that 100%.
And you're 100%. You're just scratching the surface because you did this COVID year when real estate was hard to you can't show homes, no open houses,
right.
and all the complications that happened. People,
it's true.
Like real estate was dead because I saw it firsthand. I have a real estate company like Ambiance Realty, which Agent Ubeda is part of, and I noticed that 2 months were almost like wiped out. Like it was like nobody knew what to do because you can't do open houses, you can't shake hands, you can't. So we're trying to figure it out. And in that year, you did what you did. Imagine what you're gonna do in the years to come.
Well, that's So I'm a thinker. I think a lot. At least I like to think, right? I'm always thinking. My brain's always thinking about what's next. And I already thought about that. I was like, wait a minute. We lost 2 to 3 months, easy. Not because I sat there and I didn't want to do anything, because everything went stale. Like we had listings, showings. I lost clients that said, oh no, I'm not gonna go look at that house. I'm not even gonna walk into a house, because they were afraid of what was happening.
Yeah.
And then on the listings, people weren't looking at the home. They didn't want to go look at our home. And then the sellers calling me like, Alexis, you said you can sell this in 30 days or less. I'm like, I can, but no one's coming. They're afraid to look at the house.
Yeah.
And it's not you guys. It's just, the COVID thing. No one knew what was happening. And to this day, we don't really know. But that really affected everybody, unfortunately. And fortunately, it did bring out a lot of good stuff from, us entrepreneurs that you gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think any other real estate agent would say we probably lost 2 to 3 months. And I'm like, dude, imagine I had those 3 months back.
Yeah.
I think I could have hit 30.
Yeah, and
for the year.
And the thing that happened that standed out to me is everybody else went to sleep, or everybody else panicked, or everybody else just was scared. and we like the energy and that we all put out, all our leaders was.
Yeah. Just
Let's go fight. Let's work harder than
Yeah.
ever now because we have to work harder than ever. And look, you're either gonna die laying around and being scared, or
Yep.
you're gonna fight and you're gonna make some money. And you're gonna be able to like pay things you have to pay. And I think all of us, we saw people like working hard
Right.
and going out there, and then everybody started working, and that was a big advantage to you because you just went all out.
It was, and we're blessed. We're in real estate. Let's just say that because a lot of people did very well, and kudos to everybody. The mortgage industry did very well with the refis, but you're right. And I think part of that, the whole real estate and the COVID thing was what I've always thought was because people are like, well, we can't do anything about it, or the deal's dead, the deal's done, and I say, get up, do something, try to build some momentum to make something happen. Well, meaning what? So, no one wants to see a house. Well, we're going to make them see a house. We're going to figure it out to where I'm going to put myself in the right position. So where someone says, let's make it work. And then a lot of people say, oh, you got lucky. I'm like, well, I got lucky because I put in the effort to go where I needed to go or do what I needed to do. So then luck, I was ready for luck, if that's what you want to call it. But if I would have stayed home and said, oh, COVID, forget about it. It is what it is. Then I would have never got lucky, right? Yeah. So I always say, build your own momentum.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened there.
With
COVID, you had to build your own momentum. We all did. And I think what I try to do, and we're all human, we hear stuff, we look at stuff, and we're like, well, I want to be safe. So we go back to our safety nest where we don't want something bad to happen. But at the same time, I'm like, if you put yourself out there to build momentum you'll eventually start building it if you're consistent. And I think that's what happened with me, where I didn't give up and I just kept going forward, and one thing clicked after the other. But I was ready for that. I wasn't just sitting around and watching Netflix and eating bonbons.
Yeah, exactly. so Alexis, one thing I want to say is how much I appreciate you and how proud I am of you.
Thank you.
Because I love seeing your growth, and then when you brought your beautiful wife and your kids, like I could see why you push yourself.
Oh, it's amazing.
And you're a great example to all the real estate agents watching this. And before we close it out, Alexis, what do you have what is Alexis going to do for 2021? And are you looking right now for agents to join your team? Are you looking for? Are you looking to help first-time home buyers? Are you looking to help clients list their homes? Like what is your plans for 2021? And then to end it, where can people follow you? You could say that at the end.
So first and foremost, I appreciate your comments, and I got to thank you and Sil for even having this for us, this platform and everything you guys do for the companies. It's amazing. It really is, and I love the fact that there's a young Alexis, in the hood somewhere, Van Nuys, North Hollywood, Sun Valley, that are seeing somebody like yourself and are like, whoa, well, he's Latino. Like, he did it. Why can't I? So that's amazing to me, because growing up, that was what I was looking for. Like, who can I look up to? Because growing up as a minority and in the hood and all that, your friends are your heroes, per se, right? There's no... Well, at least for me, I didn't have a father figure, so it was a little different. But so the fact that you're doing this for everybody is amazing, because now there's kids out there my age back then. I put myself back when I was a kid that could look at Albert and say, "Oh wow, if he did it, I can do it too." And that's all they need. Is that little courage. So and that's amazing. For myself personally, I think I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, is working on myself, trying to get better. And real estate is a great field in the sense where I can help that first time buyer get that dream home. I can help the second time buyer sell something and go to something bigger and better, which I'm doing already now with a few families. And it's a scary situation, because a lot of our people, a lot of Latinos, or just people in general that don't know what they're doing, they're like, who do I trust? And I think that's where I come in, where I'm like, look, I was there. I was just like you guys. We trusted our realtor when I was a kid, and My mom, I don't know how she did it, bro,
Yeah.
but she bought something when I was like 20 years old. And it was all because that gentleman took his time and really helped us out. And so I always think of that. And if I'm not mistaken, he moved out to Atlanta. But it's something that stuck to me for whatever reason. And so just helping families out, and showing them that there's a way to do it, and we're here to help. You don't be too scared, because we're gonna walk you through it. And I think, if just the record speaks for itself. If you talk to my clients, I'm there for them.
Yeah.
And now last year, I wanted to build a team, but at the same time, I wanted to prove to myself that I didn't need a team to do what I did, right? But now I'm realizing, and that's great, but now with a team, I can have more eyes and more hands at different areas. So I can help a lot more families than just by myself, which I think is a great, great thing. So, I'm at Agent Ubeda, or hashtag Agent Ubeda. That's where they can reach me at. And if they want to, learn the real estate game, that's what I'm here for. If they have someone that needs help doing a real estate transaction, that's what I'm here for. Spanish, hablo español también, so márquenme. Yeah. I'm here for everybody. But it's a great field where we're able to help a lot of people that I can relate to. Growing up in the neighborhoods, and the valley is where I grew up, so I know the whole valley. I can relate to everybody there.
Would you consider yourself kind of like the valley expert? Is that your main area?
Yeah, 100%. The good thing about real estate, though, is that we can move out anywhere. Real estate transaction is a real estate transaction. I just closed a deal in Visalia. I've never been there, but because I know what I'm doing, it makes it easy. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So, well, let me tell you just two quick things for people to hear this before we close out. You're an example of somebody that came from Guatemala. Yeah. Crossed the border. Illegally, you could say, and 100%. And you become a realtor. Yeah. You make, it's a big number. You mind if I share it? Are you cool?
Go ahead.
I'll just leave it like this: over 100K in a month. Okay, and this is from a guy from Guatemala, and you see me too, Albert, Mexican. We're not supposed to be super successful. At least that's how a lot of people see. Right. So I think you give a lot of young realtors, up and comers, and even people that are a little more experienced and more been in real estate for years. You give them hope that it doesn't matter where you came from. You could still be a badass top realtor in one of the best companies. 100%. And also you also give hope to all our Latino community and everybody else, whites, blacks, everybody, that, hey, here's Alexis, he could help you. He takes care of, I know you pride yourself that you commit to closing their deal in less than 30 days. You find them their home in less than 30 days. You move fast. So if you guys are looking for an agent that is going to help you sell your house fast, is going to find your dream home fast, you got him right here with Alexis Ubeda. So once again, Alexis, thank you. And you provided a lot of value for a lot of people that are going to watch this. And I really appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you too. For everybody out there, Albert's the real deal. I don't know what anybody else is telling you guys, but I'm here living it proof. And I promise you, it's the real deal, Holyfield. And like he said, we're here to help out no matter what it is. Que estamos para ayudarles.
Thank you, brother.